Hello and welcome. It is the 18th of July 2017. My name is Derek, and let's take a look at some alternate cryptocurrency codes. A lot of these, if not all of these, are in the correctionary mode. They've had beautiful up moves, and they've pulled back a little bit, like Ethereum here. Daily time frame priced in US dollars, currently set at 220. So all this thing is done for the most part of the year. Is starting into February, making it all the way up to 13.5 bucks because it was in a rising 18 trend. Then correct and have another shoot up 20, but it falls all the way down to like 16. Shoots up to 52. These are extreme movements where now people are talking about prices at 150 and it's over. 3 times higher than when it was way up at these levels in here. Enter volatility to magnificent proportions. That's what this really comes down to. Let's talk about Fibonacci upside even. What I look for is an uptrend. Duh, easy to find. That has a price correction. We got her. From here to here. So let's calculate this. And within the lows of a little under 170 and the highs a bit over 4, I got an up target that's higher than 700. Yeah, well, that's for the next move. And that's how wild these things should have the potential to keep playing in towards. Let's take a look at some of the other ones. But before that, let's take a look at the crosses with Bitcoin. And that would be the Ethereum one. This one again, but not in US dollars, but bits. And it pretty much looks with the exact same pattern. If it goes up, it's going to probably go up more than Bitcoin. And if it's going to go down percentage-wise, it's going to do the same thing again. But overall, it has shown that it's had this long sideways consolidation with the current price action having an attempt above the 18 average of highs, a declining one. That's the last time it has gotten above a declining 18 highs convincingly, or a declining 18 average of highs would be not shown on this chart because it hasn't had that situation, because it broke it here when it was sideways. It broke it here again when it was sideways. It really didn't break it much here. So interesting situation, because this rally almost got to the 18 average of highs. So it stated at this point, okay, you know what? We've had some good energy. We're ready to shoot this baby up. And of course, they get it up to even this mark here. That's okay to sell it off a little bit, and that's what's happened. It's fallen back down from 11 and change down to under the 95.7. So like it's stating, yeah, I'm going to correct this market, at least make a move to the upper end of this range, at least that. But if this has weakness, then this would be looking like a failed breakout. So like the Bitcoin chart, this is basically stating that an interesting move, albeit up or down, should come into place, which is going to make looking at things on a more short-term level important. Figuring out, calculating what do you think is more probable and how profitable the risk-reward venture is on any play that you are looking at. Oftentimes, these trends result themselves in the path of least resistance. So short term, the path of least resistance is lower. Midterm, it's neutral. Long term, it's extremely bullish. So neutral's neutral, whatever. But Okay, so the path of least resistance lower. It's not as strong of a trend, a short-term one. So you'd have to give the benefit of the doubt most of the time to the buyers in these situations. Let's move on to the next chart. That would be that of Ethereum Classic on its daily time frame. And it had that big move itself. Like, it was really serious about making a move. And after this big day, it topped that day. And it's been several days since then, grinding its way lower. Now, a couple days within this 18 average, thus supporting this previous area of resistance. Or in other terms, you are expected to make a higher low from here. You don't mind going as deep as the 18 average of lows, even a small pierce below it as well. But time and, is it just going to keep going sideways? This is a high point, high, low, high, and it's going to make low in here and high up here. I don't know, but when these trends are in this sideways manner, it's going to remain such until it breaks the key defined points. The defined points are the 60 handle and around in at the, well, it was like 90, 92, but really roughly over the 90 mark as well. So therefore, you don't know how long these are going to play out. You can look at analysis for things. Usually these resolve within the path of least resistance. If you are looking to try to go to play long for these positions, the risk reward would be, when buying now, you're guaranteed to have tokens. Looking to play on the upside potential of a break of the 90 handle. But your risk is it could go much lower, where you could get those tokens in cheaper or just miss the play at all. But if you put a buy order in for, say, a much cheaper price, like somewhere around 40, and it just goes higher, well, there's your risk there. You tried to get a much better price, you failed to do so, and you didn't get any gains, or you didn't get those particular gains. So you really want to look at how you derive the risk versus the reward, how you see the probability of a move up versus a move down, so on and so forth. Litecoin is a very interesting chart, which is the next one on the screen, the daily time frame. And it is keeping the nice bullish trend alive despite having a large amount of days without taking a pierce or a break above this high. As the market has been bullish, or having the 18 average of highs and lows remain in an uptrend since it sustained this rally. This high is shorter than this one, but this is where it made a statement. Yeah, by the way, I not only broke resistance with the move, but I had a real move. I'm ready to go. That's pretty much what the message of the market is telling me. But it was overextended here, needs to correct, and boom. And it was a long extended correction. And then it broke again. It didn't have as good of a move as last time, but noticeable higher high and a retest of a pierce below the previous mark. And it's pretty much doing the same thing now as it did the last time. Extended correction within the band, extended correction within the band. Now this high was yet another match that sold off relatively quickly, but as I stated on the outset of the Litecoin, it's maintained this upper trend. Now, it can only go sideways for like a little bit of time before this thing will go in a sideways manner. And breaking below 18, because it's been in this for quite some time, will instantly turn this 18 average into a declining facet. But who knows how long this would take, because you see bullish momentum peaks above here. Oh, this thing can take off. And if you look at some sick mathematical math for risk versus reward, we can look back at past history and see some of the gains easily doing better than 2x, double. simple math, simple math. If you know that you are right half the time something is going to double, that's where you're going to sell anyway. I buy now, I'm going to sell a little under, say 40, 39 or something. If I'm right half the time, then I'll be doing okay. But what happens the other half I'm wrong based on your sell strategy? Oh, you sell down here. Or you sell 6 months later at 20% off or 30% off or 20% gain for other situations where it doesn't occur. Same thing again as far as buying now versus waiting. If you buy now, you know you got in. You potentially could get cheaper prices, but when these things do get going, hey, they've had some pretty good moves, and its current level of support that it's been playing around with in here, well, it really hasn't even touched much of its last range. It's supported perfectly, really, the highest resistance level in here. So there's been a lot of bullish signs why I would rather be long than short a chart code looking like this. And as far as an up target, using the high and its correctionary low, its move should come in around 366. So that works out to about a 90 or so % gain from this level, and that's a conservative target to say the least as well. Or maybe it's another area where if it goes up, it's an area it will probably neutralize towards. So an example would be it goes up even further, like in the 4s, even up to like 450, 470. Then it pulls back down to 2 something. And then for 3 consecutive weeks, it trades in the area of 36. That's oftentimes what those numbers can reflect as well. Looking at the dash chart, I've been talking about this bowl-shaped formation, which has not been, it's still intact. The 18 average doesn't have the nicest of looking formations, as it is went sideways, now starting to decline. As for the past several days, it hasn't been able to really get above much, hanging in at the 18 average of lows, and of course falling a little bit. Overall, within these trends, it has been holding well. It has been an extremely long sideways consolidation since the March highs. And time will continue to play out with it. But a lot of these other cryptocurrencies aren't looking so good compared to the ones just shown. For example, Sonaro AMP, it's had a move from about close to 7,000 over 10,000, but heavy, long declining 18 average. It's in its correctionary phase now. Many charts sharing this pattern. Codes like Factoms, FCT. Here's a situation which has had a steady decline, broke this key support level, roughly around the 90 handle. Decent sized red candle. Where did it go down? It came down to where it came from. And it's had its bounce. And then it came back down, and each one gets smaller and smaller, which meant before or originally, yeah, good time to buy. Now, no. If it, of course, goes down there. But they've had some deeper corrections, and there's going to be, I think, especially when I don't know anything about the coins fundamentally, a lot of risk where you see this pattern go down below here. Then, wow, that's pretty big. But it's got a long ways to go to bring these bullish movement elements into play when it's got to at least make this step and getting above the 18 average of highs. And it's having a hard time holding in with the lows at this stage, at least within this code. Folding coin, same thing. Look at all this heavy support in this little north of 500 area. And then you got to start talking, breaking below here, about entering the 200 into the 300 price floor area. This is on Folding Coin, FLDC. Library credits, another situation in which has had some decent support test at another area after a big decline. After this support level broke, boom, that was a big move, going from the 20 handle down to 11. That's about a 50% haircut almost. It established by seeing 4 periods at that 20 level for it to be significant. Well, 4 periods again at this 11 handle. It's significant. And who knows where the next point would be. It's still got a long ways to go. And when you've had situations like this, if you're looking for areas of where the next sell target is, at least be it on a good upward point from where you are, and something that could work either way, that it's not uncommon for this to be an area of future resistance when it's ready, but it's got a long ways to go. It's down a little bit as it stands. Monero XMR has been in this sideways range for quite some time. It's been 4 periods or 3 different days in which it has established this key support, but we can see how it resisted the 18 average of lows. Is it doing that again right now? Well, maybe. But what I do know is that not only has this support been pretty big now, but it was pretty big back here as well. And whenever you have a decent size move like you do here, I would expect that there's going to be some support at that key level. And there was a little bit. But it also realizes short term you probably could have a move going down to this low. But really, that's just an extension of its current support. And a fall below there, well, we could be talking about moving in towards the March lows. Long sideways movement. This is the type of chart, because it's so choppy, that I'll just keep buying when it has sell-offs and keeps selling when it has rallies. That's how I've been playing this one. Let's finish this off next and final with Ripple. And it isn't a bullish chart, in my opinion anyway. I see this thing in a rolling over situation. I have been looking to be a buyer down in these levels for quite some time. So I wasn't buying in here. I didn't buy in here. Well, from that point, it broke down below this key support. We can see a big red candle down when it happened. That's not always the case. It's highly the favorite when that situation occurs. Okay. So from that point, like it usually does, it resists where it comes from. It did that. Not as big of a red candle down, but it's doing a whole bunch of nothing right now as well, while it's hanging in there with the 18 average of lows. Very, very weak in my opinion. I think this will continue to head lower, and it's one of those gulp buys in this situation, because you realize there's a darn near good chance that it's probably going to stop going lower if it does such, and I could easily sell in these areas, I would think. But you always get that feeling, oh, this is the banker's code. This could just keep going and lower and lower. But you know what? This is what market psychology really is for the most part. When you see these things going up, everyone's like, "Oh man, Ripple's so amazing. It's going to go higher and higher," because it seems everybody's always thinking. And here, why do I want to sell now? This thing is going in the moon, man. It's going to keep going higher. No. And then, of course, people are talking bad about this. And what do you think people will be saying if there's a decent-sized red candle? And next thing you know, prices are $3,000, or about 60% off from where it stands right now. I mean, I don't want to buy this. I mean, this thing is just garbage. And maybe long-term it will be, yeah, but even if it is garbage, it probably short-term is going to have a very beautiful trade. And that's what I am looking for within this type of situation. And with a lot of these things, get in and get out and try to get me some profit. That's what I'm looking for. Thank you for tuning into this more detailed analysis video. And have yourself a great day, great morning, great afternoon, great evening. Take care.